Why hello there, and welcome back to Let's Make Us a Character. And this time we'll be looking at Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition, the final Dungeon & Dragon. For the time being, based on previous releases, we should be expecting another edition fairly soon. But it is the version currently taking the world by storm, as much as a tabletop RPG can take the world by storm. So let's make us a Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition character. We start by rolling 4d6 and discarding the lowest result for each ability score, and then assign the values however we please. Our race options are now Dwarf, Elf, Human, Halfling, Dragonborn, Gnome, Half-Elf, Half-Orc, and Tiefling. All of the previous options, excluding Eladrin, which I guess makes sense since they're just another type of elf. All races provide bonuses to our ability scores, with some having variable bonuses based on a sub-race. And our class options are now Barbarian, Bard, Cleric, Druid, Fighter, Monk, Paladin, Ranger, Rogue, Sorcerer, Warlock, and Wizard. All of the previous options excluding Warlord, and some things that are basically versions of existing classes. So now to the character sheet. We get our now standard modifiers for our ability scores, and our character is going to be an elf, which governs some of our basic attributes and gives us a +2 bonus to our dexterity. We get a base speed of 30 feet, dark vision out to 60 feet, and the ability to meditate in place of sleeping. We begin speaking Common and Elvish, a term that I assume they had to stop using for legal reasons, and there's some other stuff that I will get to when it comes up. We have a choice of 2 sub-races, High Elf or Wood Elf. Well, technically there's a third option, but I assume it's an editing error, so we're just going to ignore it and choose Wood Elf, which gives us a +1 bonus to our wisdom, a +5 bonus to our speed, the ability to hide with only light cover from natural sources, and some elven weapon proficiencies, which aren't really relevant because for our class we are going to choose Fighter, which is already proficient in all of the weapons. But before that, we need to select a background, and we are going to go with Outlander, which gives us an additional language. Let's go with Goblin. Automatic success on basic survival skills, and some other stuff that I'll get to when it comes up. So back to Fighter. At first level, we get the maximum value of our hit die plus Constitution modifier, so 12 hit points. We also now have a proficiency bonus, which starts at 2 and is similar to the half level from 4th edition in that it is added to a lot of different stuff, but this time not everything. And it is also similar in that it advances at the same rate for all characters regardless of class. We now have 1 saving throw for each of our ability scores, and as a fighter we get to add our proficiency bonus to our strength and constitution saves. We also gain advantage on saves versus charm effects and immunity to magical sleep for being an elf. We select 2 skill proficiencies from the fighter skill list, plus perception for being an elf, and athletics and survival from our background, to which we add our ability modifiers to get our skill bonuses. As a fighter, we do not get any tool proficiencies, but as an outlander, we gain proficiency in 1 type of musical instrument, for some reason. We now have the option to select our equipment from some standard options for our class rather than buying it piece by piece with gold, and that's what we're going to do here because it is different. So we get to choose between chainmail or leather armor, a longbow and 20 arrows, a martial weapon and shield or 2 martial weapons, a light crossbow and 20 bolts or 2 hand axes, and a Dungeoneer's pack or an Explorer's pack, which contain various adventuring essentials. Our background also gives us a staff, hunting trap, hunting trophy, a set of traveler's clothes, and a pouch with 10 gold. And totaling up the weight of all this stuff, it is within our carrying capacity, but not by much. Our armor class is 16, a base of 11 for our leather armor, plus our dexterity modifier. We get to choose a fighting style, and we are going to go with archery, which gives us a +2 bonus to attacks with ranged weapons. So our longbow attacks have a bonus of +9, 2 from our proficiency bonus, 5 from our dexterity modifier, and 2 from our fighting style, and deals 1d8 plus our dexterity modifier damage. Our bonus to whip attacks is +7 because as a melee weapon we do not get our archery bonus, but as a finesse weapon we still get to use our dexterity modifier for the attacks and damage. However, our hand axe attack bonus, being neither ranged nor finesse, is just our +2 proficiency bonus and strength modifier, which is 0, so +2. And finally, we gain the second wind ability, which lets us heal 1d10 plus our level hit points once per encounter, but unlike 4th edition, this is now a fighter exclusive ability instead of one that everyone has. And that is it, actually, so let us proceed to level 2. At level 2, we get 1 additional hit die and the Action Surge ability, which lets us take an additional action once per encounter. And that's actually it for level 2, so on to level 3, I guess. We gain another hit die and get to select a martial archetype, and we are going to select Eldritch Knight, which gives us the ability to bond with a weapon and then summon it from anywhere in the same plane, and some limited spell casting. Our spell save DC is equal to 8 plus our proficiency bonus and intelligence modifier. We get 2 cantrips, 3 first level spells, and 2 first level spell uses per day. Spells in 5th edition are actually kinda interesting, so for example, Witch Bolt is a first level spell requiring a spell attack, the bonus for which is equal to our proficiency bonus and intelligence modifier, and lets us continuously lightning an enemy for 1d12 damage each round. The cool thing being that we can cast it as a level 2 spell and deal 2d12 damage, and then 3d12 damage as a 3rd level spell, etc. So instead of having multiple versions of the same basic spell, you just have one spell usable at different levels. And there we have it, a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition character, which really feels a lot like a simplified version of a 3rd edition character, cutting out a lot of the junk while still feeling like you have a lot of options. Like, even as a fighter who notoriously are kinda boring, you still get some interesting things here, like we were able to make a character that combines archery and magic without having to multi-class fighter and wizard and then take the Arcane Archer Prestige class at level 8. However, you do still see a little bit of the 4th edition slipping in there, like the Second Wind and encounter limited abilities, which in general were a thing I actually liked from 4th edition, and of course adding your dexterity modifier to the damage of dexterity-based attacks, which does give a bit of an advantage to dex-based characters since you have one modifier that you add to your attacks, damage, and armor class. But overall, it does feel like the direction that the game needed to go, like with the move towards less complicated games rather than against it, or just whatever they were trying to do with 4th edition. Alright, thanks for watching. I am out of Dungeons & Dragons, so feel free to suggest other games to Let's Make Us a Character for. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button and check out the other content that's floating around the screen. And until next time, keep on rolling.